Hey guys, Mr.Relatable here. I wanted to do a showcase and tutorial video going over a new team selection mechanic in Fortnite Creative. Now, this is a really cool mechanic that I think you guys will really enjoy for games like Boxfights and Zonewars and just any game mode that's similar to that. And it will be useful in pretty much any PvP game for that matter. And I think you guys will really like this. What it allows you to do is spawn in on round 1, pick which team that you want to be on for the remainder of the game, and you will be on that team for the remainder of the game. I know it sounds a lot more simple than it actually is. You think it would be very easy, but it is a little complex. So I know it's still going to sound a little confusing, so I'm going to have a tiny little clip after this intro of me walking around and showcasing what it actually does, just so you guys can get a better idea of what we're going to be building today. But with that out of the way, let's just get right into the video. Okay guys, so here we are. This is just going to be a little demonstration of how this works. This is everything that we're going to be building today. Everything that you see here is what we are going to be making, and it's actually far simpler than it actually looks. So if we hit E on one of these, you can go over to the modified options tab, and you can essentially see that it's just all going to be the same except for changing a couple numbers. So for example, you could see 1 1 11 1 1 1. Coming over to here, 2 2 12 2 2 2 3 3 13 3 3 3, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty much just copy and pasting. Same exact thing with these triggers and these attribute triggers, as well as these spawn pads are the same settings. So bear with me, it's not going to be very difficult. It's actually pretty simple. It's simply just making the first one and then copying and pasting it down the path. Anyway, let's get into how this actually works. So we'll start the game here, and you will see that everyone starts off on a base team. So on this one, I'm just starting off on team 1 as I'm the only player in the game. And let's say I want to be on team 7 for this game. So I'll walk in and I'll die right away, and I will respawn on the 7th spawn pad. So you can see I have a 7 written right here, and now I'm on the 7th spawn pad, as well as if I go into here again, I am on team 7. Now that's already pretty easy to do in Creative, but the cool part is when I hit respawn to end the game, I will then spawn in and I will die right away. I won't even have to select the team again. I will just die, and now you can see I will respawn right back onto the 7th spawn pad like so, and I am still on team 7. So I could showcase it again on a different number just so you guys don't think I'm doing some weird optical illusion or magic trick. I'll start up the game, and you will see that I'm on team 1 rather, right up in here. And now let's say I want to go to team 4 this game. If I go into the team 4, I will die, respawn, and now I'm on the team 4 spawn pad as well as on team 4 like so. And if I respawn, end the round, we'll go in and I'll die right away. And once again, I am still on team 4, and I will spawn on the team 4 spawn pad. So yeah, this is what we're going to kind of be building today. Like I said, it's going to be really simple, so don't be afraid of all these mechanics. Trust me, it's not as hard as it seems. But yeah, now we'll just hop right into the mechanics and show you guys exactly how to actually do this. Okay guys, so the first thing that we're going to want to do here is go into our My Island and game settings. After you do that, I want you to restore defaults so you're starting off with the exact same slate that I am, so we can go through one at a time and fix everything on our own. The first thing that we're going to want to set up here is the teams. This is however many teams that you want in your game. I know, pretty basic. However, for example, if I'm doing a duos map, I'm going to want 8 teams of 2 people. 8 times 2 is 16, and 16 is the maximum amount of people that you can have in a creative server at any given time. So for my case, I'm going to want the teams on 8. If you were to do a squad game, you would put your teams to 4, as it would be 4 teams of 4 people. But for, like I said, when I'm doing duos, I want 8 teams of 2 people. Team size is the amount of people that you want on each team. So for a duos map, I obviously want only 2 people on each team. Ensure that revert to default class at end of game. Make sure that this is on end of game. If it is not, it'll completely break your map. So make sure that this is on end of game. Next, spawn limit, put this onto 1, and then total rounds, put this to however many rounds that you want. For the sake of the video, I'm going to be putting this on 5. Last but not least, make sure that team rotation is disabled. If you turn this on, it'll break the map. Next, I'm just going to want you guys to pause the video and go over to your settings and UI tab and just mess with them and set up whatever that you want for your own game. I don't really want to do that in here because there's a ton of settings and I want you guys to kind of make your map unique to yourself so you can do whatever you want in here. But yeah, that's all you're going to need to do for the My Island settings. So the first thing that we're going to need to set up here is our universal spawn pad. This is where players are going to spawn on round 1 so they can select their team. All you're going to want to do is go into your devices menu and type in spawn, or just simply find the spawn pad, or the player spawn rather, and then pick it up and place it down wherever you want the players to spawn. One thing to note, pay attention, you're going to need to have 16 of these exact same spawn pads. For the sake of the video, I'm only going to be making 1, as if I built 16 it would just be very long, so I'm only going to be making 1. You're only going to need to change a couple settings, so it's not too difficult if you are making multiple. First things first, on disable when receiving from, just hit the back arrow twice so it's on channel 99. Next, when players spawn transmit on, just hit the back arrow once so it's on channel 100. You can go through and change a couple other things if you want, such as visible during games and uses island start, but for the sake of the video, all you're going to want to do is change these 2 settings. Afterwards, you're going to want to grab a trigger, which you can once again find in the devices menu, and now you're going to change a couple settings on this as well. Hit customize on it, and now you should scroll down to where it says activate on game phase. Make sure that this is on game start. Trigger sound and trigger VFX, we can just turn those off as we don't want to physically hear this trigger. Next, scroll all the way down to when triggered transmit on, just hit the back arrow twice to channel 99. And now, like I said, make sure that you build 16 of these spawn pads. You only need to have this 1 trigger, but you're going to want to make sure that you have 16 of these actual spawn pads here. And you could just place them around like so. You could just keep placing them. Just make sure that you have 16 of them. So now we're going to be getting into the actual mechanics of this. First things first, go to your devices menu and make sure that you have a class selector, a regular trigger, and an attribute trigger. After you have all 3 of those, place down your class selector like so, and we'll go right into the settings. First, hit E on it and go over to your all options tab at the top here. Make sure that you're on the all options tab, as if you're not, you won't be getting access to everything here. So follow along really closely, as if you mess up this, all of them are going to be messed up because we're going to be copying and pasting. First things first, class to switch to, put this onto 1. Team to swap to, put this onto 1. Time to switch is going to be on instant, and then respawn player on switch is going to be yes. You should see down here, size of volume, this is how big you want your circle to actually be. For my case, I think 3 meters is a pretty good size. Next, if you want, you can change your accent color. This just simply changes what this actually looks like, and is purely cosmetic, but it could be kind of cool if you're wanting to do a different color for each team. Next, scroll on down to disable when receiving from, put this onto channel 11. Next, skip over change player to class and go right into change player to team. Ensure that this is on channel 1. When class switch to, transmit onto channel 1, and when team switch, transmit on channel 1. If we hit OK here, go back in and go to our modified options tab, you should see this is everything that I changed. Make sure that yours is the exact same as mine, as if it's not, it will not function. Afterwards, we're going to start making our trigger, so simply place down the trigger like so, and now go into the customize. Once again, make sure that you're on the all options tab, and scroll on down to time skin trigger. Make sure that this is on 1, and then transmit every X triggers, put this onto 2. If you scroll on down even further, you should see trigger when receiving from channel 1, and when triggered, transmit onto channel 11. So what this allows us to do is make it so only 2 players can enter this zone. As we're making a duos map, we only want 2 players on every team. Therefore, we only want 2 people to be able to enter this zone. If more than 2 people enter it, it will just not work, as this trigger disables this class selector after 2 people have entered it. Next, we're going to grab our attribute trigger, and I'm simply going to turn it around as I want it to face me, and hit customize. Make sure you're in the all options tab yet again, and now check for class 1, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and listen to channel 100, and then if all checks are valid, transmit onto channel 1. And that is all we need to do for one of these. Now we're going to need to copy and paste them and make multiple. So the best way that I found to do this is simply multi-select all of these and just copy them and now paste however many teams that you want. For the sake of the video, I'm only going to be doing 3, as if I did 8 teams like I want to, it would just take a very long time. After you copy it however many times that you want, so in this case I'm only doing 3 like I said, but for yours you should probably do either 8 or 4 depending on if you're doing a squads or duos map. What you're going to want to do afterwards is just simply go into the settings of all of these and go over to your modified options tab. Anywhere that you're going to see a number like so, you're just going to want to up it by 1. So class to switch to, put this onto 2, team to swap to, put this onto 2, disable when receiving from, channel 12, and then all of these are on channel 2 as well. Same thing on this one over here. This one is going to be 3s, as this is our third portal. So 3, 3, 13, 3, 3, 3. If you guys have been paying attention, I purposely put this onto channel 11, channel 12, and channel 13, as you can just simply look at the numbers and say, okay, channel 11, the second digit is a 1. This is all 1s as well, so it all kind of lines up. Same thing, the second digit is a 2, therefore 2, 2, 2, it all lines up, and so on and so forth. Now we're going to be going into the trigger here. Make sure that you skip over these 2 right here. You do not want to play with these 2. You want to go to this one though, the channels. Make sure that the channel is on 2 and 12. Same thing with this one, channel 13 and channel 3, like so. Go into the attribute trigger afterwards and check for class 2. If all checks are valid, transmit on channel 2. Attribute trigger again, check for class 3. If all checks are valid, channel 3. And that is all you're going to want to do. Like I said, I'm only going to be doing 3 here. For your map, you should make however many teams that you want. So if you do only want 3 teams, I guess this would work. But if you wanted to do a duos map like I showed in the very beginning, you're going to want to make sure that you have 8 of these. So we are actually nearly finished. The only thing left to do is now to set up our spawn pads. These spawn pads are where you want the players to spawn following round 1, or whenever they select their team on round 1. So if you look at the little demonstration I did at the beginning of the video, you will know that I spawned on these depending on whichever team I was on. I'm not going to recreate these as they're very easy to do, and I think you guys won't really have too much of a problem just following along with the settings. So for this first one here, we're going to just go to the all options tab, and then to make sure that enabled during phase is on none, team is on 1, and then enable when receiving from channel 100. That's pretty much all you need to do for these. Is you're going to go into the second one now and make sure it's on none, team 2, channel 100, none, team 3, channel 100, and so on and so forth. So if I go over to the modified options tab, you can see none, team 4, channel 100, none, team 5, channel 100, none, team 6, channel 100, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 8. One thing to note that I did not do in this is you are going to need to have multiple of these. So if you're doing 2 players on each team, you're going to need 2 of these. So I could just place one down right here and go in and we'll do none, team 1, channel 100. You're going to need to do that for each and every one, as you're going to want 2 players on each team. And each player needs a specific area that they can spawn in. Same thing with this one, have 2 of these, 2 of these, and so on and so forth. Afterwards, we are actually finished here. So I can go in once again and show you guys exactly how this works, and I'll even use the portals that we set up over here just so you guys can see that they are the same as the ones that we have here. So we'll go into, let's say, team 3, We're on team 1 right now, which is the default team that you start the game on. And now we're going to go into team 3. And we will die here like so. Respawn. And I'm on the team 3 spawn pad. After hitting respawn to end the round again, the new round will start. And I will die right away, and I will be on the team 3 spawn pad. Once again, I am now still on team 3. And I'm on this team 3 spawn pad. So yeah, we are actually finished here. All you're going to really want to do now is simply place your spawn pads wherever you want the players to spawn, as well as change the positions of these little class selectors so players can walk through them as kind of like a pre-game lobby. Like I said, you're going to want these spawn pads right here. This is our universal spawn pad, the first one that we built. You're going to want this kind of in a room, and then players can walk to whatever team they want to select. But with that, I'm pretty sure that we are done here. If you guys do have any questions, let me know. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.